small city of Jalalabad.
We drove to the Spingar Hotel. It was a very old-fashioned 1930s hotel. Clearly the hotel itself had not any restoration work in years, but it was home for a week or so.
And we waited.
I met with Bergen at the Spingar Hotel, where he told me about bin Laden's new and very savvy media campaign.
To me, it sounds odd that he would have a media advisor. I mean, I know of Osama bin Laden as hiding in a cave, on the run, raw.
Well, you know, I think bin Laden's had a media strategy from the day he woke up almost. I mean, he's keenly aware that he wants to get his message out. He decided that CNN was the vehicle for his first television interview. At a certain point, another media advisor came, a kind of guy with long hair, a younger guy, looked at all our camera equipment and said, you can't use any of this.
Peter Juvenile, a British freelance photographer, joined the team.
I met Osama bin Laden in Afghanistan in 1997. One day, an Arab came to my room, wanted to check out my camera. He seemed to be concerned that there might be some sort of tracking device or some sort of device that could harm Osama. So they said that they would provide a camera for us to use.
After about 5 days, a van pulls up, it's dusk.
We all piled in the back, and then they gave us these sunglasses that had bits of cardboard cut out and stuck into the lenses so we couldn't see them.
At a certain point, they slow down. They tell us, if you have a tracking device, now's the time to tell us, otherwise it's a problem. I took the problem to be, you know, execution.
But what they did is they drove us around Jalalabad in circles, I think trying to disorientate us.
Then we started getting into the mountains, change of vehicle into a four-wheel drive. Finally, we arrive at a place where we're searched very professionally. They sweep us with some kind of electronic thing I'd never seen before, but I took it to be, if you had a tracking device, they would find it.
We'd move on for 20 or 30 minutes. Another group would stop us, just run in front of the car. And I thought it was a very impressive display of security.
And they were very pleasant. I wasn't concerned. I mean, they'd invited us for an interview. This was long before journalists were being killed in this part of the world.
After a rocky climb, the crew set up on a mountaintop in a small hut.
And someone said that he's coming.
And then suddenly out of the darkness, bin Laden appears.
More into the subject that you talked about.
And he was carrying an AK-47, so sitting there looking up at this gigantic figure was somewhat intimidating.
He gave a very limp handshake.
He came in, he was all business, you know, hello, no, very little chit-chat, sat down and started the interview.
Mr. bin Laden, you have declared a jihad against the United States. Can you tell us why?
أعلنا الجهاد على أمريكا لأن الحكومة الأمريكية هي حكومة ظالمة.
Basically, he was declaring war against the United States for the first time to Western reporters. That was the message.
He basically talked about, you know, removing American presence from the Middle East, specifically from, say, Saudi Arabia.
شرح لي عنها.
He didn't talk compromise. Leave now while you have the chance. We destroyed the Russians, the Soviet Union. If you stay with us, if you stay around here, we'll destroy you. What about U.S. civilians in Arabia or the people of the United States?
لم يكن المدنيين الأمريكيين أو لم يكن المدنيون الأمريكيون ضمن مخططنا في الضرب إلا أنه يجب عليهم أن يغادروا ولا نأمن ولا نضمن سلامتهم.
Soon afterwards, bin Laden was gone.
He appeared and disappeared. You know, out of the blue, out of the night, he came into the hut, disappeared into the night. That's his style.
My name is John Miller. I met Osama bin Laden in May of 1998 in Afghanistan.
A year after bin Laden met with CNN, ABC News correspondent John Miller was also given an interview. Bin Laden was using the media for both his message and his image.
Bin Laden arrived in a motorcade of 3 SUVs. During this time, everybody shoots their guns up into the air with tracer rounds and machine gun fire. As Dr. Zawahiri said, when Mr. bin Laden comes, there is always great celebration. He had an AK-47, which he kind of gently propped up against a map of the world that had been taped up on the wall behind him. Again, I think very purposefully, to show that Al-Qaeda was a global organization.
The American people, by and large, don't know the name bin Laden, but they soon likely will. Do you have a message for the American people?
In the interview, he declared war on America. It sounded a little hyperbolic, but I don't think we understood the depth of his plan or the creativity involved.
Can you repeat the question?
Yes, sir.
What he was doing was he was foreshadowing a plan that was already in effect. The die was cast. He was just doing a little advanced publicity.
فلا تمييز بيننا بين الرجل لابس عسكري أو مدني بل هم جميعا نعتبرهم أهداف.
Now, no one would be safe. Bin Laden was upping the ante in a way Americans would understand all too soon.
He said, I predict a black day for the United States, after which the United States will never be the same.
Masked men, Al-Qaeda, under the cover of night, final preparations. Daybreak, the main event. A heavily guarded SUV suddenly arrives in the town of Khost, Afghanistan. Gunfire erupts everywhere. Osama bin Laden performs for the cameras. It's an explosive beginning to his first and only press conference, witnessed by Pakistani journalist Ismail Khan.
All of a sudden they were shooting and then boom, boom, rocket, propelled grenades and fighting. And for once I thought we have come under attack or something.
May 26, 1998. This was bin Laden's videotape call for war against America.
وبفضل الله سبحانه وتعالى قد كونا مع كثير من الجماعات الإسلامية والمنظمات الإسلامية في العالم الإسلامي جبهة سميت.
In this press conference, bin Laden goes public with Al-Qaeda's plans to attack the United States.
وتكالب اليهود والنصارى على المسلمين.
Bin Laden had turned a corner with his declaration of war. No longer would he just attack the U.S. military or U.S. leaders. Now he was saying that the American people would be legitimate targets.
My name is Hamid Mir, and I met Osama bin Laden first time in Tora Bora Mountains.
Journalist Hamid Mir is writing an authorized biography of bin Laden. He interviewed the Al-Qaeda leader 3 times during the 1990s. How did he justify the killing of innocent Americans?
He said that, yes, the killing of innocent children and women is not permitted in Islam. But if they are killing our innocent children, if they are providing weapons to the Israelis and to the other anti-Muslim forces to kill Muslims, then we have the right to respond back in the same manner.
While bin Laden believed